A traveler arrived at an inn after a long journey. The room was small, the bed narrow, the window facing a quiet courtyard instead of the mountains he'd hoped to see. He sat on the edge of the bed and felt three responses rise in him, one after another. First, this isn't what I paid for. I deserve better. Then, at least I have a bed. At least I'm out of the rain. And finally, this is the room. This is where I am. He noticed how each response felt different in his body. The first tightened his chest. The second softened it slightly. The third simply let it be. Same room, same circumstances. Three completely different experiences. We don't just experience life as it is. We experience life through the lens we bring to it. And that lens changes everything. The same situation can feel unbearable or manageable or even peaceful, depending not on what's happening, but on how we choose to meet it. There are many ways to see, but three stand out clearly: complaint, gratitude, and acceptance. Each one shapes your inner state. Each one creates a different relationship to what is. Complaint is the default lens for most of us, most of the time. Something isn't the way we want it to be, and we focus entirely on that gap. The weather is wrong. The traffic is unbearable. The person across from us said the wrong thing. The opportunity didn't come. The effort didn't pay off. And so we narrate our dissatisfaction, out loud or silently, building a case for why life isn't fair, isn't enough, isn't what it should be. Complaint feels justified. It feels like clear seeing. You're just noticing what's wrong, what's missing, what needs to change. But complaint isn't neutral observation. It's a posture. It's a way of orienting yourself against reality, of saying, this shouldn't be happening. And that resistance creates suffering. Not because the circumstance itself is unbearable, but because you're constantly grinding against it, refusing it, wishing it were different. The complaint becomes its own weight, heavier than the thing you're complaining about. Gratitude shifts the lens. Instead of focusing on what's missing, you notice what's present. The same traffic jam becomes a moment to rest. The same difficult conversation becomes a chance to practice patience. The same narrow room becomes shelter from the rain. Gratitude doesn't deny the difficulty. It doesn't pretend everything is perfect. It just redirects attention toward what's working, what's available, what's still here despite the imperfection. This changes the internal experience immediately. When you're grateful, your body relaxes. Your mind softens. You're no longer in opposition to the moment. You're in relationship with it. You can see its gifts, even the small ones. A warm cup of tea, a kind word, the fact that you woke up today, the fact that you can still try. Gratitude doesn't solve the external problem, but it shifts your relationship to it. And that shift is everything. But gratitude has a shadow. Sometimes it becomes a kind of bargaining, a way to avoid facing what's truly difficult by focusing only on the positive. Sometimes it carries an undercurrent of obligation, as if you have to feel grateful to be a good person, to be spiritual, to avoid seeming ungrateful. And when gratitude is forced, it loses its power. It becomes another performance, another way of resisting what is. This is where acceptance enters. Acceptance is not the same as gratitude. It doesn't ask you to find the silver lining or feel good about what's happening. It simply asks you to stop fighting it, to see it clearly without the overlay of should or shouldn't, without the story of how it's supposed to be different. Acceptance says, this is what's here. This is the reality right now, and I can meet it as it is. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means acknowledging the truth of the present moment without adding the extra layer of refusal. The room is small. The bed is narrow. The view isn't what you hoped for. Okay, that's the fact. Now what? When you stop arguing with reality, you free up the energy you were spending on resistance. And that energy becomes available for response, for action, for clarity, for simply being present with what is. The Buddha spoke often about this. He said that suffering arises not from pain itself, but from our relationship to pain, our refusal, our aversion, our insistence that it shouldn't be here. When you stop resisting, the pain may still be present, but the suffering diminishes. You're no longer at war with your own experience. You're just in it, meeting it, letting it be what it is. This doesn't mean you never work to change things. Acceptance isn't passivity. You can accept that the room is small and still ask for a different one. You can accept that a relationship is difficult and still choose to leave. You can accept that your circumstances are hard and still take action to improve them. But the action comes from clarity, not from complaint. It comes from seeing what is and responding skillfully. not from refusing reality and hoping it will bend to your will. So there's a profound difference in how you meet life. Complaint keeps you locked in suffering, focused on what's wrong, resisting what is. Gratitude softens the lens, helps you see what's still good, what's still present. And acceptance goes deeper. It doesn't require you to feel good about what's happening, only to stop fighting it, to see it clearly and meet it as it is. Same life, same circumstances, but the quality of your experience shifts entirely based on the lens you choose. And the lens is always a choice, even when it doesn't feel like one. You can train yourself to notice complaint as it arises and ask, is there something here to be grateful for? And if gratitude feels forced, you can ask, can I simply accept this? Without needing to like it or change it right now. The traveler stayed in the small room. He didn't love it, but he stopped complaining. He noticed the quiet. He felt the bed beneath him, and he slept. If this speaks to you, following the channel helps me continue this work. But if not, that's perfectly fine. Thank you for being here. See you tomorrow. Have a calm and peaceful day.